Chelsea against Real Madrid. They've got a bit of catch up to do because they're 2 down from the first leg, Chelsea. It's the Champions League quarter-final second leg, and it's live on talkSPORT tonight from 8 o'clock. Alex Crook is alongside me this morning. Alex, we're going to talk about the match itself in a second or two, because Frank Lampard knows it's a gigantic task facing him as interim manager and the players. But there's more to this at the moment. There's an extra bit of spice going into this, because whenever you see a headline at the moment, Alex, it seems that either one of the two Chelsea owners, Todd Boehly or Big Dad Igbali, are maybe alongside the reason for that headline. And in the back of the Times this morning, Boehly, we are embarrassing. This tells us that it's been reported, it's understood that Boehly addressed the Chelsea players alongside co-owners Big Dad Igbali and Hans-Björg Weiss after Saturday's defeat at home to Brighton and Hove Albion. And they addressed them in the home dressing room. So is that right? Is that the territory for an owner to be in post-match, especially when times are hard at Chelsea, as they are? Frank Lampard was asked that pre-match at the weekend.
Yeah, I am comfortable with that. For me, there's maybe some criticism of our old owner of not coming to the games and not being around, and that wasn't always true, to be fair. But I think when an owner is very vested in their interest in the team and wanting to help and improve, I think it's their prerogative to have the input that they want. I remember the moments as a player of owners first coming into dressing rooms actually happened here at Chelsea, and it never really happened to me before. And I remember being really happy that the owner, you could touch them, you could high-five them, you could listen to them and feel them. So I don't think that's a bad thing in terms of the identity of the club and where you want to get to. So I have no problem with it, and from my point of view, I had my things to say after the game. If an owner comes in and wants to be positive and wants to speak to the players, then I think it's absolutely his part to do that. It can be very regular in the modern day, no problem. In fact, it shows passion, and that's the first thing that I like. So, yeah, that's it.
I don't know if Frank's been diplomatic there or not, Alex, but I mean, basically I think it comes down to this. The owner of the club in the dressing room, which is the player's territory, I'm not sure Sir Alex would have liked that. Does it ring alarm bells or signal an invested owner?
Well, first of all, if you just pull back on what Frank Lampard was saying there, of course he doesn't have a problem with it. He can't come out and call out Todd Boehly, because this is the guy who's presented him with a winning lottery ticket. He can't believe his luck, Frank Lampard, that all of a sudden he's in charge of Chelsea again with a CV that doesn't warrant that position. So I'm not surprised that he's been diplomatic. I think the ownership is a big issue at Chelsea. I think Todd Boehly has good intentions. You know him better than I do. He spent an awful lot of money to take the football club backwards. I think he's been badly advised. I think his ego was part of the reason that Thomas Tuchel ended up losing his job. And in Thomas Tuchel, you have a truly elite manager who's been there and done it all in terms of winning European trophies. How do you go from there to ending the season with Frank Lampard in charge?
But they definitely had their reasons for saying goodbye to Thomas Tuchel. Yeah. And they're going to stick by their reasons.
Well, yeah, but those reasons haven't worked out particularly positively in terms of delivering results on the pitch. And from what I'm led to believe, we know that Boehly is very hands-on when it comes to the transfers. He appointed himself effectively sporting director last summer. Igbali, as I understand it, couldn't stay away from the training ground when Graham Potter was in situ. And I'm not sure that Graham Potter particularly welcomed his input. They've got not one but two co-sporting directors. I think whoever comes in is going to have to get a handle of this situation and say to Todd Boehly, I'll be your manager, particularly if they want an elite winner in the ilk of Julian Nagelsmann. But you guys, you need to stay away from the training ground. You need to stay out of the dressing room. You need to let me do the job that you've hired me to do.
Do you think they're likely, I hear what you're saying, do you think they're likely to do that? Are they not showing and determined to show that they are invested owners? They are the new guys on the block.
But they've taken the club backwards. They're going to finish in the bottom half of the Premier League table. They're going to go out of the Champions League tonight. I thought the performance in Madrid last week was poor. I was there a year ago to the day last week when they went to the Bernabeu, nearly knocked out Real Madrid. The performances were chalk and cheese. So I'm struggling to think of any positives, really, since Todd Boehly came in. Nearly every big decision that he's made has ended up badly for Chelsea.
I just wonder what fans want at this stage. Chelsea fans listening to this morning, as it's being reported, the ownership at Chelsea pitch up in the dressing room post-match. Even Tom Roddy's article in the Times this morning, Alex, even tells us that Boehly asked the players why they were not performing to the standard their transfer fees and reputation suggested they should be capable of.
That undermines Frank Lampard, by the way, as well. Straight away undermines Lampard. Not that he's got a lot of authority in that dressing room anyway.
And judging by what the goalkeeper, Kepa Arrizabalaga, says, he says, no, this happens. He says Boehly's dressing room appearance was far from a one-off, as he speaks to the players every match. But does this not show that they are up for the battle? We are the guys in charge. We will go wherever we want. If we want to go in the dressing room after the match and we want answers to questions, we'll go in there.
Yeah, but aren't the best owners the ones that you never see in the limelight, the ones that you never hear from? Aston Villa, I know you were there at the weekend, they're going brilliantly under Unai Emery. I can't remember hearing the owner come out and speak. Has he spoken to you, the owner? Has he been on this programme?
Wes Edens, one of the co-owners, spoke to me on the day they went up. That was at Wembley.
But he's kept a dignified silence ever since and let the manager
and
run the football
get on
club.
with it. Yeah, but on the other hand, Arsenal fans always say, well, we've got silent Stan.
They don't anymore.
Never hear him. Your lot at United say anyone but the Glazers. Here you've got Boehly and Iqbali saying, hi there, we're the guys in charge. What the hell are you up to?
I think their intentions are good, and I get that. And actually, I would draw comparisons to Mashiri at Everton. He gets an awful lot of stick from Everton fans. I understand it, but here is an owner who has put his money where his mouth is. He's tried to make decisions that he feels will benefit the football club. They haven't, because again, they've gone backwards. They're in danger of relegation. Chelsea obviously not quite extreme in terms of their plight at the moment, although there are some Chelsea fans who are grateful for the points that Thomas Tuchel amassed at the start of the season, that they're not under threat of relegation. But it's all about surrounding yourself with the best people, the best possible advisors, the best in class, as Simon Jordan would say if he's in this chair. I'm not sure Todd Boehly's done that.
It's quite interesting though, Alex. I'm fascinated by Boehly's approach. He said to my old pal Gary Cottrell of Sky Sports the other day, before the first leg, yeah, Chelsea are going to win 3-0.
That was embarrassing.
Now, he said it, but he's got his own reasons for saying it, just as apparently he also points to this tonight being an opportunity, a real opportunity, that it's only 2 down and they've got to go out there and overcome that first leg deficit. That's how they see it. And as far as getting into the locker room is concerned, this happens in the US all the time. It's a place that most people congregate to. You've been over there. I've been over there. When I covered the Patriots in the NFL, everybody's in the dressing room at the end of it. We're all interviewing people as the players are either in a state of undressed or getting dressed again. I mean, you might see an owner. I think Robert Kraft is in there of the Patriots. They go in there. It's what they do. They're hands-on.
So
whether it's right or wrong.
A lack of understanding of English sport,
Maybe.
of Premier League football, of footballers' mindsets, because I can imagine, and they'll never come out publicly and say, you've quoted Kepa Arrizabalaga there, I can imagine what the players think when they see Todd Boehly rock up into the dressing room, and it won't be positive.
It won't be positive.
No.
I mean, now and again, though, it might give them a kick up the backside they need.
Yeah, but again, if he's doing it week in, week out, that quickly loses
because they're not
impact,
performing
doesn't it?
week in, week out. I mean, it's interesting. You never know if they come into it tonight. But nothing would please Boehly better than to go in there at 3-0 Chelsea on full time tonight. Nothing would please them more. I just wonder what the supporters think. Is it the territory for owners to go into a dressing room afterwards with a gripe, with a grievance, with whatever, at times like this? Chelsea going through it at the moment. Is that post-match the place for the Chelsea ownership to go in and say, what's going on? I mean, with other owners, as we said at Arsenal, silent Stan, we never hear from him. The Glazers, never hear from him. I almost had a go at Abraham Glazer at Wembley the other day, but was warned off it. But we don't hear from them.
We never hear from Tony Bloom either.
Is this not somewhat refreshing? You're right. We never hear from Tony Bloom at Brighton, and it's working.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.